everyone the lamp operation. You heard about it, you know it, because it's very famous. When I was asked, I tried to do something that is, the decoration belongs to the light itself. There is a certain bulb of light inside. The clear circles, they are holes. So you see the light through. So there are holes, they are not white. And those elements, like giving profundity, not like are black. But if you can see, they are all considering the center where you have the bulb. So you have a kind of center of form, of decoration, of light, or shades that plays. So it's quite very simple but very raffinate way of relationship between decoration and light itself. This instead was produced for many years by Driede. It was the prototype we did in Murano, and we use again, I like it very much, to study the old techniques. It's a technique that was used in Murano, and then you will see, because I work a lot with glass, a technique that was used very often from the 1600s and so on. Murano became famous because of the glass work. And those candelabras, the chandelier, very big ones and very interesting, they developed a technology that was used then, but is still used today. So I try to see if I can create something completely new, but with the same technique, the same technology, with the same element that is produced almost industrially. So this is artisan element, and you can see the experience of the last, the other lamp I showed you, because we have the global illumination. There is a kind of element inside with holes. So what you see here is not a decoration, but it's only light decoration. And the other pieces of light glass is confused with the small lamps that are inside. They are dichroic lamp, halogenic lamps. And this lamp is quite fancy, very rich one. So then the glass has memory. When we work glass, and with this, it's a very interesting things that we do when we work the glass, when it's hot, remain. So we can do things that are there because we work them in such a way, but then we can use them when it's already cold, and we can have to use it somehow. So you can see what I blow these glasses like 8 in section. So this was done when it was hot, squeezed, and then this fact that they were squeezed gave me the possibility to put afterwards into a structure, and it seems that the structure here is squeezing the glass, but in reality the glass was squeezed when it was still hot. So there is a kind again of a game, the memory in glass, and I work with this very much. You will see my experiment, because this is a design object, it's producing many copies, but it came out from the research I'm doing by doing, I don't know, I don't like to say art pieces, but the one-off pieces in which I do, and they have their own market or a different circulation, but they are for me occasions. As I was famous in doing glasses, a very huge German firm of curtain rods asked me to do finance in glass. For me it was completely absurd and ridiculous, but and I wanted to do those very technological pieces that I did afterwards, but I had to do those with glass, otherwise it gave me the possibility to try to do the technological piece. So they were very, very much, they had a huge success. I hated them from the beginning, but they had a huge economical success. I think it's a kind of a stupidity. Then we have to do everything only because I don't believe in decoration as doing things nicer. I don't think because decoration is something that changes the taste of people of the place they live. They are different in different cultures, and there are something more than the objects need. But I don't hate decoration. It means when decoration is something that is part of the concept, or where it is something like in the land you saw, in which it gives us the possibility to have sensation, or to express something, or to say something, to give some attention to things. In this case, it's nothing. It's adding something to a thing that I don't know why it should be decorated. I never understood it, why the cotton should have been decorated. But this is things, what happens. With glass, I began working with a friend that is quite famous in glass too. We did in 4 hands. We did together many objects. For some years we worked together and we experimented together. We were very shocked because this is the first object we have done in the film, in the television series Space Track. We found that they brought this object to the space as a wedding present. We were very fond of that because we wanted to create something that is pure emotional, to work on emotions and not on the product. Although this sold very much, the glass is done in Bohemia, you know, in Czechoslovakia. Then it was Czechoslovakia. They had a very big experience in a certain kind of crystal, of shot glass, and especially the blue color of the cobalt glass. This is a double glass, and for me it was important also the center part, because this is done in bronze in Florence, this in Bohemia, and these elements are cast of my hand. I took a piece of clay, I closed my hand, and then we casted it. It's very strange because the casted element is very, very tough. But when we hold it, it seems something very, very soft. So we see that because it has already the print of our hand. So it is a very interesting experiment because really what is hard or soft, tough, or the opposite can change our perception of things. Our sensibility is much richer from what we think and believe they are. So I invite you to give attention to that. The ritual of eating is very, very important. These drinking glass are so hard, positive research. And there is a bowl. It's done in crystal in Bohemia. And as you can see, the base is very big. It's like that. So it is really exaggerated in dimension, in everything. It's very interesting when you see all the people who sit around the table. They see all the room and all the people who are sitting in their own bowl. I don't have to tell you what it means, a crystal bowl, for us, no, in our culture. I don't know if it tells us the future, but in any case, it's very, very funny to have everyone sees everything in the room in its own body. But the thing that I am interested in, when we see other pieces, is when you take the glass and you drink with it. The equilibrium of the glass is very, very strange. You have in mind the mobiles of Palterer, no? Of Palterer. This guy, the American sculptor, who is the mobiles that you see in every museum in the world. And this is the thing what happens, but when you take it, the two weights on the extreme of a long stick gives you a completely different sensation. And really the operation of drinking so important thing like wine, we speak about good wine, obviously, important wine, it's very particular. Unfortunately, it's difficult. You have to use them in order to feel the feeling and not only to see it. Now, here I have only this photo. This is a kind of a bowl for flowers. Now, if the Oriental, Japanese culture of the cabana is take flowers, to take few flowers and to put them into a composition, we in the Western world, we have a strange relation with the flowers. We take them, we buy them, and we put them inside the bowl, and we want them to stay in the center of the table and to bring us a little bit of the garden of nature inside our houses. So I try to see if I could do a vase in which, when I put the flowers inside, there is a symbiosis. Something happens between flowers and vase, that it is not anymore only a container, but it's something that it becomes part of it. And in fact, unfortunately, I don't have in my lessons almost never the photo with the flowers. When you put, for example, some tulipans inside, what happens? That from one side, they have the support. From the other one, they don't have, so they fall down. And it really becomes a very gentle form. So it's enough to put the flowers inside, and the vase itself arranges the flowers inside into a very organic and part of the vase form. But crystal and glass, this is part of the Zanotto collection. There is a tradition of cutting glass, of decorating it, especially of crystal. Why it come out? It's a long story, because once the material they used to do crystal were not pure. They didn't know, and it cost too much to purify them. Mm-hmm. So they had a lot of defects inside. By cutting it, decorating it, they could take out or hide part of those defects. But also there is another reason. The crystal is a material that when you cut it, it breaks the light. You know, it's like the prisma that you know from school. So, like diamonds, it breaks the light and decomposing into the elemental colors. So what I had, so there is a big tradition in which I try to use it in a completely different way. So in this case, you have the vase, it's a very high one, and these cuts are really cut, there are holes. And imagine, and you will see other ones, in which we can put, for example, flowers inside the hole and not into the vase. So it's strange because again, it is part of the vase and not into the vase. But trying to use our senses, to play with to dominate our senses, to know that the senses are part of the design, I did a lot of experiments. This experiment was, you know, what happens when we drink wine and we take out the sensibility of our lips. Or, if you want, to have a glass that kisses us when we drink. And I can show you, it's a very strange thing when you buy a drink with these glasses, because really you don't, our lips are excluded from the feeling of the liquid that comes in. It's very, very interesting that this, obviously you have to be attention to drink some good wine again and so on, but there is a kind of playing and dominating our capacity of conceivement of the senses.